But a lot of the times it's the hard things, the things that we don't really want to do, but we know that we have to do in order to have that growth. Hey there, welcome back to my Epique Journey. This is Brandon DeVere. Thank you as always for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I do appreciate that. Here we are on the journey from 600 to 0 to 600 plus and what we have to endure to get there. Just coming off Super Bowl weekend. Sorry I didn't get back to you yesterday on a Monday, but fell behind a little bit and almost fell behind again today. I mean, it's almost 9 o'clock. It's 8:30 actually. So just getting this going. Once I try to cram so much stuff into a day and try to get these things done all the time. And then next thing you know, it's 8:30 and I haven't recorded a video yet. But great Super Bowl. It was fun. I know for my Niner fans, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I wasn't terribly distraught that the Niners lost. But nonetheless, after the first half, it turned into a pretty good game, and it was fun just to see. You're watching people that are just. One of the reasons I love professional sports is just the time and how these professionals have just perfected their craft and they're so good at the things they do, and so it's a lot of fun for me to watch. I know there's many people who aren't sports fans, but there's other things that I like that aren't sports, and I watch people perfect their craft, musicians and things like that. But I had alluded to on Saturday, there's a story I wanted to tell. I kind of didn't have the time, and I also wanted to kind of internalize it a little bit more because it was very meaningful to me. It was a very emotional thing for me to kind of experience and do. Like, we all know that there's certain things that we should be doing, or that we should be doing, and maybe we don't like to do them, and they're not as fun for us, or it makes us feel uncomfortable and all that stuff. And any book that you read, any self-improvement book, any motivational book, most of it will talk about how you have to go through something tough. People break it down, something tough to get growth, right? The best analogy I ever hear about it is your muscles, just like anything else. Like, when you go to the gym, like, you break your muscles down and they rebuild themselves stronger. I can't think of a better metaphor than going through something that isn't necessarily fun, possibly a little painful, and even emotional, but coming out on the other side after having those battle scars, right? That's actually one of the things that I worry about with my kids. That am I treating them too, like, do we give them too much and they're not experiencing these things? But I guess we all kind of deal with our different things that pop up. But so the story was, if you've been listening for any or watching for any period of time, where you've heard me talk about coaching football and coaching my son's flag football and all that, and also his challenges with going to school and anxiety and things like that. So last Saturday, I was missing two players, and I have 10 players. I was missing 2 players, and we had a game, and my son missed school last week and didn't go. And so I told him that he couldn't play. But what I didn't leave him home, and I actually asked my wife for assistance on this. And usually I try to do everything by myself and, like, try to figure out all this stuff. Like, hey, I'm a man. This is what I should be doing, is figuring out this stuff on my own. And this is how I should do it. And I was kind of torn, and so I didn't know. So I said, Eva, hey, he's not playing in the game, but should I take him, or should I just leave him here? He doesn't get to partake in anything, or do I take him to the game? And he just has to watch from the sidelines in street clothes, not even suit up. And so she's like, no, you should take him. And so I took him. And again, this isn't me wanting to punish. This is not wanting to punish him. This isn't like wanting him to feel bad about anything, but it's also a learning moment where he can really get the opportunity to learn that there are consequences for things, and certain things are privileges. They're not rights. Like, you get the opportunity to do this, and this is how you earn that. And so this is, again, I'm telling you, man, these kids teach you so much, especially if you allow them to. And so this lesson that was learned not only by him, but by me, it spills over into everyday life and work and business as well. But so we show up, his teammates are like, what are you doing? Why aren't you playing? Like, where's your jersey? What's going on? You're not playing? Or are you sick? and he had to say, no, I'm not sick. So Eva's with him on the sideline, and we're getting warmed up and everything like that. And we end up missing another player that plays his same position. She was actually hurt, or she's not hurt. She was sick, been sick for the last couple of weeks, so she wasn't there. So we had to fill in somebody else for that position, and so we didn't have that as we normally practice and play with. So he had to sit on the sideline and watch the game and look at plays that he felt that he could have made that we didn't come up with and didn't make. And afterwards, it was also a teaching moment to the other kids too. And one of the other dads actually came up after me and said something pretty funny. But what I did was, I said, hey, he wasn't here today because he didn't take care of business throughout the week. He didn't take care of the stuff he needed to take care of, so he doesn't get to participate today. And I told all of them, I was like, hey, I'm here to help. Like, you guys are here to play. I'm here to coach. But at the same time, I'm also here to teach you lessons. And this is a lesson. Like, when you get to that next level, like right now, it's recreational flag football. It's nothing. But we have a couple players that are pretty good, and they're going to want to go off to play tackle and play in, for junior high and high school and stuff like that. And I just told them, I'm not checking your grades, but if I find out from your parents that you're having bad grades, you're not trying in school, you're not helping out around the house, you're not taking care of those things you need to take care of, then you don't get the fun stuff, and I will bench you. And I said, if you don't think I'll bench you, look today, I just benched my own son. And so that was one of the dads was like, oh man, I'm not sure if my son should play because he's been having bad grades. And grades aren't everything, and I'll say that as well. I'd rather these kids be great human beings than just getting good grades. I'm not going to get on a soapbox or anything right here, but I know some very, very smart and successful people that got terrible grades. And I know the exact opposite. The people had great grades that it completely fell off. And it was, so I don't think that grades actually make who these kids are. But it does tell me if they are trying or not, especially right now. Most of them are in elementary school, a couple in middle school, but the middle school kids probably not getting as much leeway as the elementary students. But I wanted to let them know, like, you need to take care of your business. And so that's like, I've just been thinking about it for the week. Well, sorry, to finish that off. After that, I had him come over, and he had to apologize to the team. Like, hey team, I let you down. I asked him, I said, hey, would have been better if Camden would have been, would you think Camden would have helped the team out today? And they all said yes. And I asked him, do you think that you could help the team out today? And he's like, yes. So then he apologized to everyone, telling them sorry that he wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to play because of some decisions that he made. And so it was very difficult. I will tell you, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done as a parent, as trying to teach something right and not know. I mean, this is the biggest challenge too. Like, who knows if I was even right to do that? I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. But it was something that, it was super difficult. And it was so hard for me that even in the game, it was so hard for me to I know he wants to be out there. Like, it was like one of those like sick feelings. It's not like you want to throw up, but like you have that, like, where kind of a stomach heart thing where it just kind of is like hard for you. Hopefully it was the right thing. And I was actually calling plays out there thinking that he was in the position I needed him to be at, and they're like, oh no, I can't do that. That's not, this player hasn't practiced that spot yet in this play. So I'd have to change it up and things like that. But going forward, since then, he has been very, seems to be happy, very, very respectful and understanding of why he didn't get to play. So hopefully that message gets across. We'll find out this Thursday if it did. But then I started thinking about, like, when it comes to us in business and stuff like that, certain things that, like, things that we want, and it's not that we want to play, but it is we want in especially in the real estate world, we want to have this, but we're only putting in this. And, it's not our parents taking us out of the game, but we're taking ourselves out of the game, because it's, hey, you know what? I'm going to, I want to close, I'll say 20 deals. You want to close 20 deals in a year, and you break it down, you get with a coach or something like that, and they break down the numbers, and you're like, hey, this is how many calls you need to make a day. This is what you need to do. And then by Thursday, you haven't made any of those calls. That's you showing up to do the work. And these are the things I want to teach these kids now, is that if you want the playtime, you're going to have the work time, and your playtime is directly correlated to the amount of work time that you've put in. And so I see things. I mean, even things like the things that we don't want to make the tough decision and make. So there's a kind of a two part here. Like, one is that we don't want to put the work in sometimes. For my son's angle, that's the lesson he learned, was that he didn't put this in, so he's not getting this. And the lesson that I learned was that was a tough decision for me to do that. So let's say, for instance, as we talk about, I am mainly in agent attraction and recruiting and things like that. What I get a lot of the times, a lot of people that will, the objection that I'll get is, well, I have a deal. I have a deal coming. So I'll close that out and then I'll move over. But then the deal isn't closing for another 20 days. So you're not going to be trying to get any more business during that time? Because then when that deal closes, you might have something else in the line or in the pipeline to close. You might have another closing, and it's just going to keep going on and on and on like that. But you have to make that hard decision. And I had an agent recently that joined that made the hard decision. She looked, and it had to do with friends and family and all that stuff. Telling them like this could potentially cause some issues by making this move. And that, in order to find out if it's gonna pan out, you got very much like me right now. Like, they made the move and they don't know if it's gonna pan out yet. Like, I did that with my son, Camden. Like, you're not playing. It was painful for me to do, and now I don't know. I don't know. I won't know for, I don't know, maybe Thursday I'll know. Who knows? Hopefully I know that early. But it's those things that if you want that extra level of what you're trying to get, there's going to be sacrifices that you're going to have to make. And that was just one of it just hit me hard on Saturday, thinking about this and like what I was going to talk about. I know I ended up talking about rev share and all that stuff. And that was just because something popped up and I didn't really have the time to go, not necessarily the time to go into it, but I needed more time to like internalize what had happened and kind of be like, yeah, well, this is kind of like that. This is like you're not making the hard decision to do what you need to do. So hopefully that helps in some way for anybody out there trying to figure out how they're getting to the next level, or some of the, one day I might come in here and just go through all the main objections that we get, because it's almost every single objection is like, my situation is different because of, and almost no situation is different. And it's awesome. We are all unique, but at the same time, there's a lot of people going through the stuff that you're going through and in the same scenarios. And the one thing, I'll end with this, but the one thing that blew my mind, I went to Tony Robbins in like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. I went to Tony Robbins with my friend Nick, and one of the things that he had a woman talk, and she happened to, ironically enough, we were in San Jose. Ironically enough, the woman was from Vegas, and then and she was also, she wasn't in real estate. But she was from Vegas, and was talking about how she was going to go back into her business because she doesn't think she can be a mom, and she put this huge stressor on herself because she ended up having a miscarriage, and she's like, I don't think I'm fit. I'm failed. I'm a failure of a woman. Like, I cannot be I can't give my husband a child, so I'm a failure, and that's how she was feeling. And Tony Robbins goes, hey, how many people here? And there's probably 16 to 18,000 people there attending this event. I mean, it was a full house at the San Jose Sharks Arena. And he's like, how many here have been affected by a miscarriage? And I would say like at least 70% of the people raised their hands. And it was shocking to me, because I've been affected in, not me directly, obviously, but I've been affected by that. And I looked around and I was like, whoa, like, that's crazy. But a lot of people don't necessarily talk about it. And so people don't hear it. So they think, well, this is my scenario. So maybe I'll come in here one day and do some objections that we get, because I hear it often, almost daily. Well, my situation is a little different because of. It's probably not that different. But anyways, I just want to share those stories with you because it was something that was very powerful to me. It was a tough decision for me. It was emotional. And as we try, like as parents, like just as I'm doing this journey with you to get back to 600 plus agents, it's also a journey of me being a dad and like learning how to do it. My daughter's 17. Like I've done it once, but it's not the exact same. Just like, I got to 600 agents before. Yeah, it's not going to be the exact same path and the exact same strategies and tips and tactics and all that stuff. But yeah, so just wanted to share that stuff with you guys. Hopefully it struck a chord somewhere and brought some kind of value to you. And hopefully I can keep bringing some value to you. So I will see you back again tomorrow. And until then, have a great one.